I'm Steve Vibronics, and this is the Life in Dub podcast, talking to people who live their lives in dub and reggae. Episode number 29. Welcome to the 29th episode of the Life in Dub podcast. How are you doing? I hope you're all okay out there. Thanks for taking the time to tune in to another reggae life story episode. As usual, I've got to say thanks to the many people that have got in touch to let me know what they think about the series. It's always great to hear from you, so please feel free to get in touch at vibronics@gmail.com. Please keep sharing and helping the podcast get to more people. Don't forget there's 28 previous episodes to check out at lifeindub.com or wherever you choose to listen to your podcasts. This week, I want to talk a bit about musicians and about recording. You see, recently I was working with some amazing reggae musicians at a studio in London for a new project. There's usually a few people involved in each track that I've released, whether that's singers, horn players, percussionists. But at this time, I was working with a band. Drums, bass, guitar, piano. Like I said, it's usual for me to record musicians in the studio. I've been doing that for years. But when you have a whole band, it's so different to how I usually produce my tracks. Normally I have almost total control over the bass and the drums and the chengs. Especially working a lot with technology as I do, you can really be a dictator, controlling every last detail. But when you have a team of musicians, the music really starts to take on a whole new life. Suddenly you're not in control of every last note, every accent or hit. It made me realise how I've taken this control for granted over the longest time, but now I have to let the music in this new project grow and become its own thing. That's something I've got to get used to. Maybe in Jamaica, when reggae first went digital, I guess it must have been the opposite way round, with producers for the very first time realising they can control almost everything you hear in a track. I think as a producer, it's good to set yourself a challenge, so let's see where this takes me. This week, my guest is Dixie Peach. Dixie is well known as a vocalist and live performer, but in this interview we learn a lot about his early days, which were spent running and playing sound system. It was also great hearing about how his big tunes in the 1980s, like Pure Worries and Tonight is the Night, blew up and put him in the spotlight for the first time. We had a great chat, so enough of me, let's get on with the interview. So, Dixie Peach, welcome to the Life in Dub podcast.
Greetings, Steve Vibronics. Yes, I.
Yeah, nice you could join me. So, looking forward to finding out a bit more about the whole sort of Dixie Peach story. Obviously,
yeah, man.
An artist like you had a long career, so I'm sure we've got plenty to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk. I mean, even in the little time we have, it's still not enough time, but we can get as much as we can in.
Nice. Well, what I do at the beginning of the podcast is I ask every guest the same question, which is this kind of name a track that really was significant for you or really made you change things for you or really made a big impact on you. So I don't know if you want to tell us about a track like that.
Well, the track I could tell you about what started everything was Pure Worries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, without Pure Worries, I don't feel... Well, there would have been a Dixie Peach, but things wouldn't have happened or gone the way it has.
So that was like your first big hit, is that right?
It was my first record and my first big hit.
Well, because I feel we're going to talk about this in the sort of time scale. So let's kind of backtrack a bit and stuff and talk about maybe stuff that led up to that. So you're born in London, is that right?
Yep, born in Southwest 11. Well, I was born in Chelsea, Kings Road. Grew up in SW11 Battersea. Come from a musical family.
So you say you come from a musical family. I mean, when did music started being involved, in your life? When did you kind of first latch on to music, if you like? Well,
from when I was about 5 years old, when I recognised that when my dad had a party, he had his little, it was called a gram at that time. There was no such thing as a stereo or nothing like that. It was a gram. And he used to invite people around and he would play music and I used to just sit on the chair and watch the turntable. It was exciting to see the record go on and then you put it on the bar and then when the record finished, it just automatically clicks down and the needle comes over. It was just fascinating to me. So when I got to a certain age, my dad would say, right, son, I'm having a party tonight and you could play the music.
So you're like a childhood selector.
Yeah.
And what kind of music? Do you remember what kind of music was played at your dad's parties?
Yeah, them days, you know, it was like tunes like Sweet Sensation, and this is when I got to realize what I was playing. Cherry Old Baby, Curly Locks, Lee Perry, a lot of ska music, and the country and western singer Jim Reeves. Yeah,
Jim Reeves is like such a big name in the whole like Caribbean households. Jim Reeves seems to be like, he's there, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we're every Sunday, you know, my dad will put on a Jim Reeves album and just let it play. And we would all just sit down and just enjoy the Sunday listening to music.
And you say it's like a musical family, so you've got other people in the family that were involved in music as well, and kind of maybe...
I've got Maxi Priest, my cousin, Bunny Red's Young Lion Selector. I've got so much family members involved in sound system and musicians and singers, rappers. So there's a long line of us, you know what I mean? I heard, you know, there's like Fred Locks, and all of us in some way we're all connected.
Wow, that's some like roll call of people there.
Yeah. It's a long list of, you know, the connection, you know? Jacob Miller, you know, he was called Elliot. Maxi Priest, his name is Elliot. Then you got Stafford Elliot, which is Fred Locks. I come from the Gale side of things. It's just a long history. What, you know, it goes way back in St. Elizabeth in Jamaica, and a lot of them, that's where they come from, their family and the lineage, and that's where we're all connected, you know what I mean?
And what about you getting involved in music as... Because, again, I've asked a lot of people this, and I think there comes a point where you realise, like, music's really important to me. I want to, you know, I'm obsessed with it. I'm going to spend all my time doing it. And, you know, were you really into it when you were young? I mean, was there a point where you thought, you know, music's really it for me?
Well, I was in the school choir as a tenor singer or whatever they was at the time. Yeah, I was in the choir. Then I discovered sound system because my dad built my brother a sound in the house. So I used to watch my brother, you know, play out, and I suppose that's when I really started to say, well, that's what I want to do.
So you had sound systems like in the house?
Yeah, man, we had a sound in the house. Yeah, my dad built a sound called Tippertone.
Okay.
Yeah, and my brother used to play out, and my uncle Bongo, he was a selector for Duke Reid.
So what do you remember the boxes being made? Because I'm always amazed by these pictures.
Yeah, the boxes.
The crafted boxes back in the day.
Yeah, you would have like a single...
cabinet design.
Yeah, and, you know, 12-inch with like musical notes on it and all kind of patterns on it. And it was just like a 12-inch box, and then they had a little 8-inch box. It wasn't no big sound. It's more like a little party sound. Mm-hmm. But... that sound there turned into some big kind of... It's a sound called Tippertone, and it just turned out to a big sound, you understand? When my brother realised what he could do and he was working, and then he started like getting 18 inches and built it bigger. Then what happened after that, he joined a sound called Kilowatt. And now I'm of age, so I decided to build my own sound called Prince Brown.
And again, it's like something I've asked, you know, everyone about, because it's just something I'm really interested in. And what do you remember going to dances when you were young, and like what they were like, and kind of...
Yeah, man, when I was, say, 13 years old, 14 years old, we had, like I said, I had my own sound called Prince Brown. So what we used to do was nip my mum's old pram, put all the boxes in there and push it to the adventure playground. And in the hut where Ben used to say, well, you could bring a little set and you could keep a little dance in the hut. And we that's how we started with Prince Brown, and that's when I realized, well, people are coming and people are actually dancing. A man and a boy and a girl would be dancing together, and that's what it was like. I mean, we played music, people grabbed the girl and had a dance.
It's like the value of these like community centres and stuff, and in the days now where things are being cut, it's like, it's so important to have those places where you can go, even if you're wheeling your boxes in your mum's old pram. It's like to have somewhere to go and play.
It was always wonderful, man. I mean, you know, the adventure playground, they would say like, all right, if you got a little sound, you could bring it and test it out in the hut. So I used to bring it every Friday, push my sound down there with my friends. Some of them would carry a box and we'd push it to the adventure playground, charge 10 pence to get in. Yeah, and people used to turn up, you know what I mean?
And what about going to like bigger dances where like, you know, proper sounds were playing and stuff? I mean, do you remember going to your first like sessions like that at all?
My first session was, well, I actually didn't get in. I had to sit outside at the back and listen to it. It was Providence House. Mm-hmm. And you had a sound called Highway, Lord David, and a sound called Danny King. And I sat behind, because you could hear it really clear if you sat behind outside at the back of the club. So I used to sit on the wall there on Friday and just listen to it. And then one day, Danny King said to me, carry this box in. And I carried it in and just hid it in the corner. Because I was too young to be in there, really. But I hid it in the corner. And
Trojan horse.
Oh, when I saw the boxes, I was just fascinated. I was seeing all these boxes all around the side of the walls and big amplifiers. And, you know, when you hear the mic, man, and you would just stand up and say, boy, wow, that's, you know, fantastic. And after that, they would let me in the club every Friday I could get in there, you know, and that was when I first discovered a dance and heard a proper sound system. And it gave me the inspiration to say, well, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to be like them, you understand?
And what was going on in the dance? If you had to describe it to someone, it's like in those days, when you were young.
Them days there, you would have like, them days I used to play dub plates, but it wouldn't be a special, it would be just like an exclusive tune. You wouldn't have no sound names called in it, it would just be an exclusive tune, so only played by me, you know? And then next when you hear the other sound, you're a liar. Here's this. Here's another cut of it. I was in Providence House one night with Danny King and Lord David, and they must have played 12 cuts of Curly Locks. You know, Danny King played one, then Highway played one, then Lord David played one. It's like, it was just Curly Locks. You understand? And that was the beginning
exclusive
of...
cuts.
Yeah. And them times were the beginning of a sound clash. I don't even think they knew what they was doing, but that was the beginning of sound clash, you know what I mean? When a man say, only played by me, one in the world, and another sound would say, yo, brethren, hear this cut, same tune. Then you hear the next one say the same thing. Me have a cut too, hear this, only played by me. And that's when I realized, look, this thing is not easy. This thing ain't no normal thing, you know. Listen to these tunes. Because you heard Curly Locks, but you've never heard these versions.
Mm-hmm. And these are different dub mixes and
different
instrumental
dub mixes.
versions.
Yes. And you know, them things that were just fascinating me until I used to save up my money and I'd go and buy these dub plates, you know what I mean?
And what other sounds were around at that time? I mean, this is going back some.
Coxswain, Sufferer, Lord Cruz. Well, there were so many of them, you know. Now that you put me on the spot, it's hard to remember them.
Well, it's a long time.
It's
ago.
a long time ago, but yeah, Danny King.
I always think when I'm doing this, talking about the early days, is I should get people to get some old like leaflets and pictures out and
That's
stuff
right.
to kind of remind, because you're suddenly being asked to go right back into like, you know, the sort of depths of memory and, you know, those early things. But at some point, like, you got involved, I guess, and you sort of. You joined a sound? You were with your brother's sound?
Well, what happened, like I said,
you were in a sound.
I built a sound called Prince Brown. And we had the sound for about 3 years, and then we started playing in like house parties. So what happened one day is my brother phoned me and he said, I see that you're playing sound system. I said, yeah, man, I've got a little sound. He goes, come and meet me. So I went and met him, and he brought me to a friend of his house. And he says, look, here's the sound. We're not playing it no more. You could go and run it for us. So when I looked in the shed, it was like 10, 18-inch speakers, and it was just a big sound.
Big jump up from the community centre.
Yeah.
He said, adventure playground.
Yeah, he said, you could control this. So I said, what, you serious? He said, yeah, you can control this. You and your friend can control this. And that was the sound called Kilowatt. Mm-hmm. So now Kilowatt, what we done with Kilowatt is we was playing like, now we're playing big sounds like Sticksman, Young Lion. We're playing like Moambasa sound.
And what's it like playing those bigger established sound when you're like a new sound and you're young? And
well,
what is it like playing the guys who've been doing it a while?
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. But the thing with me is, I always look on things like this. Win or lose, I'm going to make a name. Mm-hmm. You understand? People never knew who Kilowatt was. And then when we played this sound, they started to realize, hold on, this sound ain't no easy sound. Look at the size of it. And then, so when I play sounds, I don't care if I win or lose. Because I know once I finish that dance, Kilowatt now is starting to get recognized.
And what about like moving the sound? Because obviously, it's not an easy thing to do, is it? To like move a sound and stay up downstairs and you know what I mean?
Well, we had this old boy, John, and he used to charge us 20 quid. And he would...
To drive the van?
Yeah, he had a nice... So, he was our man. He was our lifesaver. He was our man. We'd say, John, we're playing out such and such. He'd just say, what time? It beat her on the spot. Put the sound in there. Drop us wherever we go. And he would come back for us. And we paid him 20 quid. But he was a God bless. He was such a lovely man. You know what I mean?
That's it. You have to have your people around. You can't do it alone.
You have to have a team. He became one of the team members.
And you were like, picking up the mic and,
well, them times
entertaining and...
No, them times of Vibronics, I wasn't a mic man. I was just a selector. I used to just play the sound.
No. I thought you'd been straight on the mic, but like you were...
No. I had my mic man then. I wouldn't touch the mic them times then. Unless it started getting heated, I would have to come in and say, yo, cool on your temper. Yeah, calm down. Apart from that, it was my MCs what were chatting for me,
Mm-hmm.
Slimmers, Longman, Nigga Jimmy, General UB. I had a proper mic team.
So what about you and the microphone though? Because obviously that's what I know you for, and that's what most people listening will know you for. I mean, there'll be a few people that are listening that will remember you back in the day, but a lot of people will think of you as this recording artist and this, the man with the microphone. So when did you start getting involved in that? Was that with the sound first?
Yes, it was. What happened was Young Lion, that's another thing. Young Lion is one of my original sounds. I'm one of the founders of Young Lion. So while I had Prince Brown, I was always with Young Lion sound, They turned out to be one of the best sounds in England. Mm-hmm. What happened was Young Lion were playing Saxon and there was no mic man in the beginning. No one wasn't there. It was just me. And I had one lyrics. Obviously, I'm not a mic man, but I had a lyrics. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the man then put the mic in my hand and said, Peach, it's up to you, It's only you here. I said, but we're playing in Saxon. He said, no, man, you have to just try something, man. Try something. So I had one lyrics, and I can remember it till this day. Zim, zim, brother, me have a brother Arden. Zim, zim, brother, me have a brother Arden. To make his money, he lip and hustling. Is I man Dixie Peach pan them mic chanting. Me dep on them mic lad till the morning. I tell a young lion, keep your rockle and swing.
Do you remember who was with Saxon that night?
Yeah, that night there, it was Colonel was there. Papa Levi, Tipper Irie, Rusty Sandy.
Right, so you're there with the big guys. There.
Yeah, they was all there. But what happened was they kind of turned up late. So that one lyrics is after that I was nervous. I said, I haven't got no more after that. But what happened when he wheeled it up and the place went mad? I couldn't believe. I said, wow, what's going on here? Anyway, Daddy Willie and Nigga Jimmy stepped in the correct time. And then we started burying Saxon and then their team turned up and then the battle was on, you know what I mean?
Well, I think a lot of people have this thing where they kind of want to do it, got a few lyrics, got some ideas, but they see these people around them who are the masters of the trade.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, no, I'm not really worthy, you know what I mean? And then they do it and something like that happens and they see a reaction and it gives people the confidence to want to do it again.
The reaction was brilliant. You know what I mean? It was a great reaction. I couldn't believe it. I said, but if they did ask me to carry on, I would have been in trouble because I didn't have no more.
So what, time to put pen to paper after that then?
Yeah, no, what happened after that now is I still didn't get involved with singing on that. I was just carried on playing my sound. And what happened what happened, Kilowatt now was gonna play Saxon. And we didn't have no dub plates. So I said, bloody, what we're gonna do? 'Cause we got dub plates, but we didn't have a dub plate what we'll call our sound name, or you understand? Or an exclusive that no one couldn't play. We didn't have none of them. So I was in the sound yard and we had a little studio downstairs in the basement. And I heard some melodies coming from downstairs. I said, what's that? So I ran down there to say, well, Derek, what's this? He goes, oh, we're just messing about with the Casio. So I said, do it again. And that's when I heard dum 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 dum. I said, that's a tune. And he goes, what are you talking about? I said, look, man, all you have to put is the reggae on it. And,
put the ching on it.
Yeah. So they done that, and then we was looking for a singer to go on it. We couldn't find none. So I said, you know something? I'll do it myself, man. I got a little voice. Let me do it myself. And that's when Pure Worries was invented.
And it was just that, so you recorded it that one time there?
One take. Recorded it, and then the big night came when we was going to play Saxon now. So I'm the selector, so everybody was nudging me saying, put the tune on, man, put the tune on. Because they can't play it.
Time.
Yeah.
Put the time, you're right.
And I'm saying, well, I didn't want to hear it because it might sound crap. And they're saying, nah, man, the tune's going to do the thing, man. So I put it on and I turned my back to the crowd because I didn't want to see no bad reaction. But when I put it on and I heard the reaction, Steve, the place went mad.
Wicked.
I must have lifted it up about 5 times. And then I got a bit confident to say to Saxon, only played by Kilowatt. No one can't play this.
And that's it. You're there as a young man and you're playing Saxon and you're using your tune.
Well, not young man. I'm
you're
same age as them. Yeah, they were all the same age as me.
But you're troubling the other sound with your own music.
Yeah, yes. And I mean, they were, because they just went into they were shocked. They said, where did that come from? And then we had like 3 different versions. We had you remember that program, Joe 90?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we used that melody and we put it on there and we called it the Joe 90 mix.
It's like Thunderbirds.
When we played that mix, the place erupted again. And we had them in a position where they just didn't know what to do at that time. Because every tune I was playing, they would play 4 cuts of it or 5 cuts of it. I played a tune, a junior reed, and Saxon played 5 cuts of it. But I held one back.
Played it back on you,
played it back on me. But I had one what I held back. So, when they finished, I still had one more to play. So what I done when they finished, I played it. It was a junior read on Studio One. And I got it from Bunny Lee. Bunny Lee is related to the mother of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was always around Bunny Lee, King Jamins. I used to eat dinner with Dennis Brown and John Holton, Delroy Wilson, Derek Morgan, all of these men I was around.
You must have learned stuff from them as well, because it's like when you got people like that around, it's like apprenticeship.
Yes, well, what happened? Bunny Lee, he's the one who gave me that junior read and said, look, no one can ever play this on you. So he gave me, matter of fact, what Bunny Lee done for me, we went to a studio in Acton, he invited me up there. He booked 2 hours extra for me and said, cut what you want. And that's when I started got my first lot of dubs to play against Saxon.
Mm-hmm.
It was the great Bunny Lee what gave me, provided them for me. And I rest in peace, Mr. Bunny Lee. Would always love him.
Yeah, legend. And to have, I guess, to go into the dance knowing you've got that kind of weaponry, it means like, okay, I'm ready for this now.
Yeah. I mean, when I'd done my homework to play against Saxon, but I'm not being funny. Saxon is a great sound. They've got so much tunes. They have tunes you can't play. It's not an easy sound to play. But you could play a tune and they might have 5 cuts of it. So, but at the same time, everybody was saying to me, "You're gonna get killed in there. You're gonna rare this." But Steve, I didn't care because all I knew said, when we do this, we're gonna be so recognized, win or lose. And that's exactly what happened. We got, now everybody wanted Piece of Kilowatt.
And what happened with Pure Worries after that? Because obviously you've gone from playing it in the dance, but at some point it went from there to being this mega hit.
What happened is there was a man standing in the corner by the name of Nick. And he heard the track and he contacted us. Okay, he was friends with of Kilowatt, the sound owner, the man who owned the sound, And he came to the house and said, "That tune what Dix played, Pure Worries, I got a man who might be interested in it." So they phoned me and I went up to the yard. I said, "Well, what's happening?" They said, "Boy, this man's talking about someone might want to release Pure Worries." So I said, "I'm not a singer, man. I'm a sound man. I ain't no singer." He says, "So what? You don't know what the tune." I said, "Look, I'm not a singer, man."
So funny hearing you say that, because it's like everybody now knows you as a singer, but it's like not having, it takes a while to recognise, doesn't it? You've got that skill to be a singer, especially when you're around Dennis Brown and like Junior Reid. And,
and at them times, I didn't class myself as a singer, you know what I mean? I would just listen to them when they were playing dominoes and you hear them singing and they say, "Wow, that tune with Dennis Brown just that was brilliant." They come out with their little one-liners. So anyway, so what happened, Nick got in contact with Tubbys. Then I got a phone call from Tubbys saying that he would like to release it.
And Tubbys were already, they were a big sound at that time already.
Oh, he was mega. Them time the Tubbys mega sound. Big sound. Them time he was playing Quaker City and Shaka and all these big sounds. Yeah, Tubbys, I remember playing against Tubbys when we was in Young Lion. We played Tubbys.
And what was that like?
Boy, Tubbys destroyed us with bassline, man. He was just so heavy. It was a brilliant dance. Yeah, great dance. Because when I saw Tubbys, I said, "Well, where's this little man? Where's he going?" But when he turned on his sound and started playing that bass line there, I said, "This man is not normal." I never heard bass like that in my life.
Because there's no one like Tubbys around at the time, I guess, was there?
No, not heavy like that. I mean, you had sounds like Quaker City and Jungle Man and, these, tell you the truth, Jungle Man and they were heavy sounds. They were heavy.
Yeah, Birmingham.
Yeah, that Birmingham sound there was heavy. It's a heavy sound. Young Lion as well. We played Jungle Man, Quaker City. We used to play all these sounds, but Tubbys at that time, to me, was still one of the heaviest sounds in the world. Tubbys, and he's kept that reputation up till this day.
Yeah, for sure. So what happened with like the record release then? So
what happened there now is I was laughing about it. I was saying, "Listen, man, I'm not a singer, man." Boy, Steve Vibronics, little more did I know when that tune come out, what it would do.
Because it was a proper hit, wasn't it?
It was massive. It was a massive hit.
What? Because as you know, I run a label and whatever. Do you know how it became a massive hit? Was there a big promotion on it? Or was it just some viral thing? People loved it. I mean, what was going on around the release and stuff?
Well, all I know is Tubbys put it out. There was hardly any promotion done on it. The tune just went viral. It just went mad. Tony Williams was one of the first DJs to play it. And when he played it and the reaction, what he got, I think that's where it all started. Then it latched on to other DJs. And then when it was out, it sold out in the first week. Everything sold out.
Because it sounds modern now, but this is years later. But at the time, it must have really sounded super modern.
Well, remember, Sling Ting had just come out at the time. And when we heard Sling Ting, that's why I said, just put the in, because we had Sling Ting. I said, and you heard how it sounds exactly like Sling Ting. Not the way he played it, but the sound of it.
And That digital thing.
That digital sound. So he put the tune and I said, look, there it is, man. This is the modern sound. This is equivalent to Slingting.
And when you have a big hit then, I mean, the amount of records you sold in those days was like, you couldn't imagine it now.
Them days there, I mean, you had to sell a good amount of thousands to say even enter a reggae chart. Mm-hmm. Pure Warriors, I think, went to number 5 in the reggae charts, went to number 1 in Hong Kong, number 5 in New York. The tune it was just going mad. And now, remember, I didn't class myself as a singer. I was still laughing about it. I said, people are stupid. Because I'm not a singer. And then Tubby said to me, all right, look, Dix, can you do another one? So I said, what do you mean another one? So,
you thought, that's it, that's my song, I've done it, that's it.
That's it. I thought, well, that's it. You know, I said, he goes, no, do another one. So I've done another one, and what happened after that? Now, I got a phone call from Tony Williams to say, could I come and do a PA? And I'm saying to all my team, look, this is getting ridiculous now, you know. They want me to come and sing it in front of people. They go, so what's wrong? I said, come on, man, I don't do them things, man. Me go and sing in front of people, are you stupid?
Because now we look at you as like a showman, you know what I mean? Confident, everything. But I guess back then it's all different, wasn't it?
Back then I was a nervous wreck. So then I said, all right, let me go and try and see if I could do it. Because I've sung in front of people when I was in the choir and that. So I'd done it. I went to Hammersmith Palais, and it was a Reggae Awards, big show. And I was backstage. I say to my mate, I want to go, you know. I didn't want to do this. And they held me there saying, nah, man, do it. Boy, I didn't, you know, when I went out there, Stephen, the reaction was so brilliant. I just felt quite proud of myself after. I say, look at that, and I wanted to go.
Just takes things like that to get confidence up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember who else was there? Who else was around? Because when you're sharing the bill with people that you look up to, the first time, it's such a weird thing.
Janet Kay was there. Winston Reedy was there. What was the name of the band, man? With Mafia and Fluxy and Don Campbell. Anytime you see Mafia and Fluxy, ask them about the band they was in.
Cool, I'm seeing them next week. So
ask them about the band they was in. And Don Campbell was the lead singer, and Bubbles was in that band as well. Mm-hmm. So you had that band there, and Michael Gordon. I mean, these were all the top artists for the UK what were there. But
what I'm saying is that obviously you're on the bill with these people.
Yeah, I'm a newcomer as well, but I'm saying this is why I was nervous. I say I'm standing up next to Janet Kay and all these artists. And I'm just a little sound man, you know what I mean? But yeah, I done the business, and then after that, Pure Warriors got nominated 5 times for Best New Single, Best International Tune. Then I got nominated as one of Best International Artists, along with Freddie McGregor and all of this. It was just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it just started getting crazy. And then when I won the award, they said, oh no, Dixie Peach is not a newcomer. So they gave it to Kenny Knotts. Yeah. And that was the beginning of my career.
Mm-hmm. And then you went on to do a whole load of recording, especially for Tubbys. I mean, you know, like Slaughter and Tonight Is the Night. It's like, and they were all big tunes, weren't they?
Well, my second tune was Spin Spin on the Shanghai Shank rhythm. Spin, 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 the play the 45. Spin, 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 the play the 45. Spin, 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 the play the 45. That was my next single. Mm-hmm. It didn't really do that great. So Tubby said, do another one. So I said, this man ain't ramping, is he? And then the smash came along. Tonight Is the Night. Mm-hmm. And then Slaughter, then Ragamuffin and Rambo, Love Is a Thing, Hold On To Your Man, Sight the Move. You know, it just, and then you had like Colonel Might and all these people joining now. Errol Bellet was there as well with me. And giving a mix. Was it Wayne Marshall? He was there as well. And then little Clarky joined, and that was the beginning of Y&D label with the offbeat posse.
And what was it like in those times when, because you've had some hits now and like people know you, so I guess like the phone's ringing and things are like happening and, you know, you kind of started to really get a career in it.
Yeah, I was doing shows like 3 times a week. I was on the road. I mean, this thing really got serious. I had my own management now, and, you know, Ragamuffin and Rambo was a number. I mean, I had 7 top 10 hits by then in the Black Echo reggae charts.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing shows like 3 times a week. I was doing a show. I was in Birmingham. Then from Birmingham, we've gone to Leeds. And, you know, we were just touring the whole of England.
And you came to Leicester, of course.
Leicester, oh yeah, man. West Indian Club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done a show in there, and I've done a few little shows in Leicester and Coventry.
Were you doing stuff with Tubbys as well, like on the sound and whatever in that time as well?
No.
Just releasing the record.
I think he had it was Joe Abashanti Joe. He was the mic man at that time for Tubbys. So I didn't get involved. Them times I still had my sound called Kilowatt.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I was singing, I was still playing in Carnival every year. And then when it started really taking off, I had to stop playing the sound. I had to make a choice now. Either I'm going to be a singer or I'm going to be a soundman. And I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead with a singing career, because I have done many years in the sound system.
Because it is hard to do. There's not many people that manage to do all of those things. I think because people ask me about, are you going to build a sound and whatever? And it's like, well, I do love sound system and I love to get invited to play on sounds. I absolutely love it. But my thing's always been making the music, and I've always had to focus on that, the thing that you do. And I guess it's like with you singing, it's kind of that's your thing, I guess.
It doesn't work, Steve. You know, to me, it's like one or the other. So I decided to do the singing. And what happened after Ragamuffin became a big hit, I kind of eased off of everything, you know what I mean? Because now I have a child and my family, so I had to like commit myself to raising my kid and all of that, so I didn't really make no more records for a while.
Well, the music game's a really crazy thing to be involved in if you want to have any sort of normality and family and stuff. It's
hard. It was hard. I had to make that choice to say, all right, I need to stop now.
Because where I think of you coming back in is like when Tubbys came out again and you did those releases on the JTS label.
Well, what happened there was...
like Ja Road and...
Yeah. You know...
They were wicked. When they came out, they were like just a cut above what else was happening at the time. And it shows it's like there's that school of talent there still, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like quality.
What happened was now I'm getting, you know, my kids are grown now. Now I want to get back into the music thing, you know what I mean? And what happened now is I was in a band called The Family Pack. You know, just finding my way again.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a phone call from Keith. And Keith says, well, Dix, do you fancy starting again? So I said, yeah, I'm up for it. And he called Bellet. Me and Bellet and Tubbys had a meeting. Because Tubbys said he wants to bring back his sound. He just built a new sound. So I said, all right, what we do is we'll work around the sound.
That's it, because that's how I remember you being with the sound. And when Tubbys Keith came out again, like around 2000 or whatever, it's like you were singing on the sound with them.
Yeah, because you remember them times that you didn't have a lot of people doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Bellet came to my house one time, and Tubbys sent over a rhythm, the Gerald rhythm. And Bellet wrote his piece, and I wrote my piece in my house. Went to the studio, voiced it. And from then, you know how it goes, Steve, it all started again.
Mm-hmm.
Gerald took off. Bellet's track took off. Tubbys is back on the road. And a man said to us, it's going to take us 10 years to make back the name. I won't say
overnight.
I won't say his name, but when he hears this, he's going to know it was him. He said it was going to take us 10 years to make back our name. Well, little more did he know, it took us 1 year.
And obviously when you came back out again, you've got this more I mean, you talked about being number one in Hong Kong and stuff, but travels were much harder back in the kind of 80s and stuff. But you're talking early 2000s. There's a much more of a global thing going on as well. And I guess you're being called to perform all over the place now.
Well, what happened was, remember we went to Italy in 1984 with the sound system.
Yeah, no one travelled in those days.
That's right. Crazy, isn't it? And a lot of people didn't even know that what we're doing today, Tubbys done that in 1984. So anyway, we started singing around the sound, and Tubbys started getting booked up again, and we started releasing more music, and now is now.
And obviously, things like Rastafari is the only way and stuff.
That song, that song,
big songs, songs.
That song was written in 20 minutes, and this is not no boastful thing. Tubbys is my witness. I mean, from me and Bella linked back together and we heard the rhythm, it was like we just looked at each other and just said, "We have it." See it then? As I sang Rastafari is the way, that was it. Play the tune, Tubbs, and me and Bella just deal with it. Because you know what it is? When you get that experience of singing around a sound, because, it's freestyle, isn't it? So when you hear a rhythm, you just have to adapt. And I'm quite good at that, you understand? I'm not too bad at that.
Yeah, because obviously to have a long career, you have to be able to move with the times. And
yes,
obviously, you're talking about dances in the 2000s. I mean, so different to like when you started in the 70s or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, different world, different kind of people going. Different, everything's different. Music's different.
Yeah, I mean, when a selector plays a rhythm and you're working for that selector, and you've never heard this rhythm before, but you've got to adapt quick. That's what the skill is all about. Singing round sound. Singing round sound is not a PA, it's a freestyle thing. So if your brain not quick and you ain't got melodies and got ideas in your head, it's hard. But me and Bella, we had that kind of skill.
Yeah, and but then you seem to move on and started to record for lots of other people like Disciples and all kinds of people, and just had just people calling you to voice for them because obviously they want your voice.
Yeah, well, what happened, because I didn't even know the Rastafari rhythm was done by Disciples. When I found out, I got in touch with Russ, and Russ said, "Yeah, come, because he lives near me. Russ live about 3 miles from me. Them days with Backyard Studio.
Yeah, and West Ewell.
Yeah, so I went up there, and the first track I done for him was Militant.
I'm going to say, because that's another big tune, definitely, because that's one of his famous rhythms as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. When I heard the rhythm, I said, "That one there, Russ, there's the rhythm. Yeah, that rhythm there." Then I done Long, Long Way for him. That was another smash for him. Then I done an EP called Worries Again for him. And that done really well for him. So, yeah, and that was Russ. We linked up and we just got on with it. And then after that, that's when now the European producers started contacting me.
Yeah, because there was definitely a phase where because there were sounds and stuff starting out on the continent, but more and more people started producing music a bit later on. And then obviously people started calling artists to come and work. And I know you worked with my friend Weeding Dub and lots of other people.
Oh, yeah, man. What a nice man. Weeding Dub, Romy. Yeah, he's a nice man.
Yeah. Wicked track as well you did together.
Yeah, and funny, the thing is, he sent a guy from France to come and shoot a video.
I know the guy. He did a video with us as well.
Yeah, very nice brother. We went up to Westminster. It was raining the day as well. And I said, "How are we going to do this?" He said, "Oh, come on, Dix, we just do it. And we've done it, and the video turned out absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that's another track. Let them know. I've done so much tunes for people right now. Vibronics I'm just so grateful for all of it. I tell you the truth. I'd never do anything different if I had my life to start again. I would want to do the same thing.
And I guess you would have had no idea when you started out just how long a career you were going to have as well, because not everyone does.
I didn't have a clue. I just thought Pure Warriors and that was going to be the end of it. But as you get involved in it, and then when I did start to take it serious, I realized, well, this thing is not normal. This thing here, this is a new career for me. This is what I've got to do. Maybe this is what I was meant to do.
And more stuff to look forward to, more productions in the pipeline and stuff.
Yeah, well, I've got the big tune out there right now, what I've done with Chris Chemist. I've done some work with Chris Chemist as well.
Yeah, he's a great producer. Wicked.
Yeah. So, we've got this tune out, Our Music, right now. And we've got another cut of it called Keep Our Music Alive, me and solo band to the Margaret Dread.
Yeah, another guest on this podcast, the great Solo.
Yes, and that's out right now, and that's doing wonders, doing really well.
I know that, like, your dinner is cooking next door, so there's a bit of urgency. But what I'm going to do is, like, there's one question at the end I ask all the guests, which is just same question I ask everybody. I've got my book, the Book of Dub. I write everyone's name in it, and what do they want written next to them? So I'm going to write Dixie Peach in the Book of Dub. And what would you want written next to your name?
It's been a long road with lots of signs.
No, that's it.
And that's it. It's just been a long road. It's been a long road. Yeah.
Because when did Worries come out? What year was that?
I think it was 1984.
Okay.
Yeah, around that time, 84, 85, one of them dates there.
And a lot of people listening to the podcast weren't even born then.
Well, this is another thing. There's, the greatest thing about that tune is it's been repressed 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere I go in the world, and you see the people what have the record. I'm saying, but that record, you weren't even born when this record come out. But they say, I know, but they, for some reason, they've got a copy.
Well, they just record these big tunes, they take on a life of their own, because I've just been reissuing some of my stuff that was kind of rarer and people were asking for. And you've got these little tunes, you make them quite quickly in this little moment in time, which is long gone. But years later, they still mean something to people. And I'm always amazed by that. And I guess it's the same with Worries. This little thing you made has become this big thing that people love.
You know what the funny thing about this music game, you got fans what really take this really serious. They take their artists serious, you know what I mean? When I stopped making records, I done my first show in Brighton. I pulled up me and Gregory Fabulous and a friend of mine called Jimmy. Them times that Gregory wasn't around, Tubbys. And I'm going into the club, and then I'm saying, look like there's going to be trouble here, because I see this man just looking at me really horrible. So I said, well, I don't know this face. Let me check back, see if I've done anybody anything. No. I said, yeah, my friend, what's your problem? He goes, you're Dixie Peach, innit? So I said, I paused for a little while. I said, hold on, mate. What's Then I said, yeah, it's me. He says, why did you stop singing? I said, no, I just took a break. He said, no, man, you stopped singing, bro, because I was following your career, and then all of a sudden you just went quiet. So I said, well, I'm back now, And he says, I'm glad that you're back. I bought your road the other day, and it's a great track, and I'm just so happy I'm here tonight to support you, and I'm glad you're back.
So you've got people following your whole career like that.
It's amazing. I said, boy, look at that. That man, I can't believe what happened there. I was quite shocked.
Yeah. Well, it really means a lot to people.
Yeah. And, I get that quite a lot now, People, when they see me, they want to talk to me, and they're telling me about myself, things, boy, I don't even remember.
Well, music, because music accompanies people on their whole life path. You know what I mean? It's like this soundtrack to our lives.
Yeah. Apart from that, I've had a great journey. I've had a good time. I'm speaking to the great Steve Vibronics at the moment. Can't get better than that, can you?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, you're a great producer. You're a great selector. You know what I mean? You got a nice team, Echo and them, man, there.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, we're lucky in Leicester. Got a great team in Leicester.
Yeah, so I just like to speak up to the world. Hopefully when everything gets back to some sort of normality, possible you'll see me again.
Well, Dixie, thanks for joining me on the podcast. It's been a real pleasure. So, yeah, cheers.
It's been a pleasure chatting to you. I wish we had longer, because there's so much to say. So I have left
part two. We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, that would be great. But you keep up the great works, and until we link, God bless. Yes? One love.
Thanks for joining me and Dixie for this 29th episode of the Life in Dub podcast. Don't forget to share the podcast. Reviews are really useful too to help get these reggae and dub stories out to more and more people. If you want to get in touch, just email me, vibronics@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you all again in 2 weeks for the next Life in Dub podcast.